All right, so today I'm here in the greenhouse in our pink collection, and let's do a quick talk about what we're going to expect from winter with Pinguicula. Many of the Mexican and tropical Pinguicula go into a winter succulent stage, but some do not. So let's talk about the care during this stage and what you need to look for in your plants at home. All right, so here we are in the greenhouse with my Mexican and tropical Pinguicula collection, and it is December, so all of these have started to switch to their succulent stage if they have one. Now, a succulent winter growth stage is not the same as a temperate plant dormancy. It is not required for the plant to be happy. So if your plants don't want to go into the succulent growth phase, you don't need to force it. But what we always tell you is to watch your plant and follow your plant's lead. And what do I mean by that? And that is that they're going to shift their growth cycle. So I've got Curly Whirly here, and it's such a good example of the difference in leaves. So look at this. These are their carnivorous leaves from summer, and this is the winter succulent stage. So when I start to see the shift in the growth pattern of those leaves, I need to dry my plant out. And I really need to dry it out pretty heavily. So that means cactus and succulent level dry. I can give you some general ideas of how frequently to water, but the truth of it is you kind of have to feel out your own conditions to make that judgment call. So you're really gonna wanna water infrequently. When in doubt, dry it out. Oh, I'm getting rained on in the greenhouse. The condensation just fell. I don't know if you guys can see that. So these plants were recently sprinkled, and so I can actually look at the top of the soil. I can see that it's damp. I'm not going to water these again for quite a while. I want them to dry out. And why do I want them to dry out? When I see that leaf change, this is an indication that these are dying back. You want to have the soil be very dry so you don't have a pathogen for rot, because as these die back, your plants can easily rot. This is actually the most dangerous time of year for pings to actually rot out. So be very careful, dry your plants out. But let's take a closer look at some other pings that have different kinds of leaf changes, because they're not all as obvious as Curly Whirly, and it can be a little subtle, and that can be a little overwhelming for people. Here we have Raspberry Ripple. So here's another one where I feel like it's fairly easy to see the difference. Same with over here, Neon Raspberry. These are the large carnivorous leaves. These are the little succulent winter leaves. And actually you can see too, it's flowering. Yes, they will flower during this stage, so you don't have to worry about losing all the flowers. So those ones you can really see the difference, but there's still a lot of plants out there that difference in leaf change can be subtle. So let's keep looking. Here we go. So this is Pink Elephant, and this will die back pretty hard actually. So you can see right here, these are the beginnings of my succulent leaves right there. That is really important to spot. See how they're smaller and tighter, but these ones don't look that much different, but they actually are significantly different. So it's really important to look for those small changes. Here we go. We have Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb. Look how big this plant is right here. And then it's going to die back to something this size. So that's the other thing to remember is when you order pings in winter, they're going to come to you quite small if they're succulent stage, but that doesn't mean they aren't going to be big again in spring. So let's see, this one is, Princess Bubblegum. I should have known, such a beautiful one. And over here is a Crassifolia Moctezuma cross. And so that's a really tight winter bud. That's really easy to spot. Queen Cthulhu is another great example because those leaves don't look substantially different to a lot of people, but those are the succulent leaves right in there, and those are the carnivorous leaves. And you can see slight changes, and that's what I look for, and I know it's time to dry this plant out. Some people also want to know if they should start drying their plants out before they see those leaves. You don't necessarily have to. You can wait for your plant to tell you what it wants by showing you the changes in its leaves. So you can wait to see. Here's Dusky Heart, looking really lovely. Then over here, we have Pink Panther. That one's dying back very aggressively. So you can see, again, huge carnivorous leaves, tiny succulent leaves. Now, some plants are not going to go succulent. That's going to be plants like Gigantea over here. They will grow slower and a little bit smaller in winter, but they don't go into a succulent stage. So you can keep watering those. And then there's also Marginata. And then some of the hybrids like Western Sethos, those don't tend to have any sort of succulent stage. And again, just follow your plant's lead and do what it wants, because that's really the best thing you can do to make your plant successful. When in doubt, dry it out.